So we got some patch notes for Season 4, which may be a little controversial. I think there's a couple good things in here with some not so good things. So another case of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But we'll go ahead and kind of go through them so you kind of have an idea. Obviously, we already got the roadmap. We're going to focus mainly on Warzone today, which is Verdansk. We get Overlook, which is going to be different than the Nakatomi Tower. It has other features. It has these diagonal zips, not necessarily horizontal zips. And those are going to be the only horizontal diagonal zips on the map. Not a huge deal. It's gonna be one of those things, probably have good loot. I think there's a secret room in there similar to kind of Nakatomi Tower, or maybe we get specialists and some other things, but overall that's that part of it. High value loot zones will be Superstore, Quarry, and Overlook. Modes, we're going to have new modes. There was a creator call for this patch a few hours ago, and one of the things that they explained is that basically when new stuff is going to be added to the game, it's always going to be tested out in an LTM first, which I think is a step forward, was one of those steps forwards when we're talking about where they're going to focus on maybe a new feature that would be experimental or maybe something we've had in the past. They're going to see the interaction it has in the LTM. Overall vibe check, essentially, to see if people like that feature or not, see what the overall interaction rate is before ever making changes to the Battle Royale. And I think that is a good step, because I think before in the past, they dominoed too quick where they would try something out right in the BR and people would give feedback and then they would just leave it in there. At least in this case, there's an attempt to try out certain features and see what people like so that the game can still have a level of freshness to it. So Clash is going to be 52 versus 52. I don't really know how much that'll pop off. I think there are some special things in there, like we talked about, that they're going to try out, whether that's the thing that locks the doors, the little supply crate, and the hand cannon and stuff like that, right? World Series of Warzone's coming back. If you want to try that out, make sure you're signed up. It's going to be pretty competitive, as it always is. Here is one of the crazy parts, which we'll go ahead and talk about. The playlist update. Normally we skim over this, but you can see Battle Royale only has duos and quads, no solos. We'll get to that. Ranked Verdansk, it's just trios. And then Resurgence gets all of them, which is fine. I still think we need a quads Area 99. Sometimes that rotates out with quads, Vondel, quads, Ashika, whatever. We're going to have the Clash, which is the LTM for quads, and then Plunder will be quads. Battle Royale Casual. People were downplaying how popular this thing is, but it's solos and quads. So they're actually removing solos for a time period. And on that call, they said that they're just going to experiment with this. If the feedback is too harsh, that solos being gone is a big deal, they'll go ahead and probably try to bring it back prior to this. It won't be 2 weeks of this playlist. They'll make a judgment call. Yep, we messed up. We should have left it in there. And then we'll just leave both modes. So we'll see how that goes. I think this is going to be one of those step back, because we should always have trios and we should always have solos along with duos and quads. I don't think they should be removing playlists. I think that is a huge negative for the game. There's enough players on the game. There's over 20 million people playing the game. Sorry, out of area markets like Brazil or Oceania, you guys don't have as many players. Maybe you can't do what I'm talking about. But for NA and EU, there are more than enough players to fill these lobbies with all the modes. Ranked play, we're going to have it starting off, so you'll be reset back to Diamond if you're above Diamond, and 1 rank other than that. They're going to be restricting all launchers, which is, I think, one of the bigger complaints with ranked currently. Tracker's going to be gone. Body shield and other lootable event items will also be there. So they'll go ahead and take care of that. I'm not a huge ranked enjoyer. If you're interested in that, I'll have a link to this in the description. It's kind of the same thing, different day, different season, whatever you want to call it. General, moving forward, we've made a clear decision to test new gameplay features in a limited time modes. This is kind of what I already talked about. Approach will allow us to continue exploring fresh ideas and mechanics in controlled environments, giving players a taste of what's possible. They also, in the call, they mentioned that they want the feedback to keep coming. So sometimes I'll make a video saying my thoughts on a particular topic, and people are like, why are you complaining about this? Well, they literally asked for this. Me as a creator, I'm putting my opinions out there. They often don't always take them, but I put them out there so I can say my piece. Sometimes people don't watch the full video. They don't get the context. They just look at the title or the thumbnail, which is supposed to be clickable, by the way. And they go off of that. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Either way, I put my thoughts out on there. I don't think they care, but whatever. It is what it is. They don't have to care. I'm nobody. I just make videos, right? Players will start with a single armor plate equipped in the gulag. Okay, so the happy medium, not 2 full plates, and they'll kind of see this. This change seeks to help players in scenarios where no armor would result in certain weapons killing faster than intended. Faster even than in multiplayer. And this is specifically with guns where if you got one headshot in the mix, it could be a 2-shot kill, which is insanely fast. Due to Warzone's higher damage per shot values, this change was intended to reduce the extreme time to kill cases without overcorrecting. So some cases you won't notice much of a difference because of the way the rounding of the bullets works. But in some where you would have been instantly deleted, it's going to solve for that. We'll see how that goes. This was something that it makes sense that they did that. I thought they would have went with 2 plates, but 1 plate better, I guess. Verdansk, updated ground loot. This is something they've done a little bit better on. Reduce the drop rate of LMGs in Battle Royale. No more fangs on the ground loot, man. Get rid of them. Slightly increase the drop rate of SMGs in Battle Royale ground loot. Updated underbarrel and stock attachments on Legendary Assault Rifle better match their intended play style. And then adjust the possible optics available to assault rifles found in ground loot. Good stuff there. This is a step forward, right? Like this should have been the way Warzone was operating before. I still think they need to put like 40 round mags or 45 round, whatever the closest is for a lot of these guns, because in higher game modes it becomes more of an issue. Solos not so much, but solos is gone unless you want to play it casually, which I'm sure people will. Lootable perks, there they are. Cool. Ghost is a lootable perk I'm not really a fan of. Loot Master, I don't mind. It gives you a 30% increase to like legendary loot from loot chest or whatever. Buy stations. Battle Royale buy stations on Verdansk. Buy station locations have been shuffled to inspire fresh combat encounters and new rotation opportunities. The total count has been increased to 49. They added 2 more buy stations from 47. New contract, Clash. And this will be Clash only, and this is the S&D one. Basically, again, this is where they're going to try it out. This won't make it into the normal Battle Royale unless it isn't uber popular, which I don't expect it to be, but whatever the case is. New contract. Upon pickup, 3-minute timer begins, and a buy station is marked on the opposing side of the map. Any squad member can plant the bomb by interacting with the marked location. Once the bomb planted, the bomb site is revealed and nearby enemy players are alerted, a lot like S&D. The bomb explodes after 30 seconds, dealing area damage and disabling the buy station for 1 minute. Enemies can prevent detonation by defusing the bomb with a 4-second interaction. Rewards are based on successful detonation or defusal, only available in the Clash mode. They are really doubling, tripling, quadrupling down that this is going to be only in LTM, which I think is good. Battle Royale supply run adjusts the fire sale rewards for the supply run contract, so it only consumed during a fire sale public event if a free item is purchased. Okay, so I guess you could lose out on that bonus before. I didn't really notice that. I don't really run into a ton of fire sales while I have a supply run, but there you go. Flash grenade, flash angle increased by 20%. Concussion, so that's a buff. I need to turn further away to mitigate those effects. Concussion, looks like it increased. Ugh, I don't like that. Decreased, the minimum. So flashbang grenades are seeing some moderate improvement in their base effectiveness. At the same time, we're enabling a hard counter to them in the form of the veteran perk. All right, then Clash, we're going to get this little door barricade, which I don't really see much of a thing for. It automatically self-destruct after 2.5 minutes. Clash will be able to get the hand cannon. Veteran, significantly increased resistance to flash and stun, which is great for specialists. And then just in general, fall damage reduction increased to 35%, up from 33%. Mountaineer, I don't know. It should be like 50%. I don't know what they're doing. The original was 50%. If you had dropped from 20 meters, this would bump it up to 30. Those weren't the actual numbers, but essentially that's the difference. This is like, oh, if it's 20, it's going to be now 26. Like 2% is like nothing. Bandolier removal. Wildcard has been removed from all modes. Okay. New weapons. We get the LC-10, the FFAR, the Essex. I think this one's going to be an event. We get some new attachments. This G-grip could be a game changer, primarily for the firing stability. which a lot of weapons desperately need. On top of horizontal recoil, it will be likely the hard meta for an attachment. It removes your chance to equip a laser, so I don't know how that'll work. And then we get the 3-round burst on the Strider, SVD full auto, which could be a little bit interesting. Same thing on the TR2 close quarters auto conversion. Weapon adjustments. One thing that they mentioned on the call is that basically some of the things, this is where I was like, maybe they have been listening or they're just making good decisions. Either way, I like it. They're buffing bullet velocities on a lot of the guns, which is I think is a positive. One of the things that Modern Warfare 2019 had for its guns is it would have like that 800-ish bullet velocity, but the barrel would increase your bullet velocity by like 50%. So you'd bump that up to already like 1300 bullet velocity. That's the general thing that was different versus now our barrels do like 25%. And that's why they're not as good. And then also prior, our barrels helped with bullet velocity, recoil, like a bunch of stuff. And those aren't things as well, but I'm glad they're looking into increasing the bullet velocity. That's a huge deal. Helping a little bit of flinch, bullet velocity, pretty much across the board. So all they'll have left, if this under barrel is like fire and it replicates some of the commando foregrip capabilities, we're going to be in a really good spot. But we'll see kind of what ends up happening, right? Because we have to actually play with whatever the changes are. AMAX gets a slight increased view kick strength and deviation, making it harder to use. Receiving a slight recoil adjustment such that players may want to take additional recoil, reducing it. Bro, what are we doing? I don't like that. I like the AMAX. Like, why are you touching it? That's no. That's not, I don't like that. Cypher, bullet velocity increase, cool. A view kick reduction while focused increased from, okay, so you get a buff to the marksman foregrip. Marksman foregrip looks like it's helping quite a bit. Gun kick reduction while focused increase. I wonder how good that'll actually be. We'll have to test out the marksman foregrip if it's actually making these guns more viable. But I still think the grip that we're getting as aftermarket part equivalent is going to be good. Slightly increased view kick strength. Why? What? Highly predictable and controllable weapon now sees improved velocity to make it more consistent at range. However, the view kick will now need to be countered throughout the entire recoil pattern. Again, 2 steps forward, looking good, sounding good. Let's take a step back. Let's just do it. Okay, close range. It looks like they buffed the ranges, which is just cool. For a lot of these close range options, Jackal gets a little bit of buff. All right. Multipliers change a little bit. Aim down sight improved. Compact range gets a little bit of range buffs. Some view kick changes. It doesn't look like a lot of damage changes. So TTKs will be mainly the same. It's just they'll go out a little bit further. And that should make them a little bit more reliable so that you're kind of having a bigger trade-off when you pick up like a rifle to do your sniper support close range. General, all 6 inflict more flinch on enemies now. Ooh, LMGs. You get a nerf, and then they increase the damage range. Okay. Rework the profile, reduce view kick strength and deviation. Still has a pretty slow fire rate on the Fang, so we'll see kind of how that plays out. GPMG. All right. Okay. PU, XMG. Damn, they nerfed the closer range. That is kind of intense. AK, burst, fire cooldown reduced. Ooh, faster fire rate if you have it in burst. View kick reduction increased. So marksman foregrip, they're kind of like trying to make that compete with the vertical. But I still think the new grip might be, it sounds pretty good on paper at least. SWAT, faster fire rate, drop time improved, so it's a faster swap. Yeah, they're really going in on this marksman foregrip. Sarkov, AMR mod. This is a one-shot headshot in its max damage range, 150, 120 meters. Reduce first shot recoil, bullet velocity increase. All right, well, I think it'll be still pretty slow. You'll still be better off with the HDR. Death recap widget. Death recap widget. This is a kill cam. It's a little thing on the right. There it is. Precision airstrike reveal. This is one thing we've talked about hundreds of times over the years, is when you pull out that streak, it's going to indicate where you are on the minimap. They're adding this to there so that the player knows that when you called in that airstrike, that is what gave away your position. It's like, how did they know? Well, because you used a streak, dummy. But the game should do a better job of doing that. Obviously, that's more of a knowledge thing, but it's not that serious. Relax. Indicates if your position was revealed in minimap due to coughing in the gas. Oh, damn, that's actually crazy. Tracker ADS, auto ping, alertness detection. Challenges. Specialist perk tracking, UAV kill tracking, camo challenge clarification. Cool after sliding, get kills while sliding for clarity. And then a bunch of bug fixes, which is cool. Again, like I said, they continue to do this. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You're getting this positive, shoot yourself in the foot. Positive, shoot yourself in the other foot. It's like, just, somebody's got to be there saying, you know what, this looks good. And then somebody goes, well, let's just shoot ourselves in the foot. And then the other guy go, how about no? That's what's missing from this currently, is that, like, it seems like good, bad. And I hope they stop doing that. Overall, I'm looking forward to see how this actually impacts it. The new attachment, some of the changes to bullet velocity should help quite a bit, but we'll see how it goes. Let me know your thoughts. See you on the next one. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.